Okay, so do you think NIL deals help or hurt the college football landscape?
I think they do both. I think it can hurt, depending on the dollar amounts. And I think one of the things that hurts the kids is, how many of these deals are like falling through. From what I see online and stuff, you see different deals where, something fell through or, what was in a contract wasn't actually real. So I don't like that because it takes away the focus from the kids' responsibilities. Like, I love the NIL. I absolutely 100% love that kids are getting paid. I really do. I'm not going to be one of these old guys that hates on them. At the end of the day, it's like, hey, you have a small window in this life to maximize your name, image, and likeliness. So whether that's in college through the actual NIL, whether that's the pros in your contract, whether that's, you're in one of those two positions and you have a chance to be on TV, to go, sign some deal to be in commercials and shit, like, go maximize it, 100%. And I'm never gonna hate on the kids for making the money that they make. So I love it. I just wish it was more controlled and it was kind of more slotted, kind of like the NFL. It's like, okay, you're not just gonna make $13 million over here. Like, I feel like some of the things are a little bit ridiculous. I don't feel like any kid, unless you're a transcendent athlete like, a Cam, Lamar Jackson, like, unless you're like one of these guys who is like absolutely fucking phenomenal on the field and you are a true difference maker, I feel like you shouldn't be getting paid more than any coach that's on the actual staff. Because I think that's ridiculous that, if you're a grown man, 30, 40 plus years old, and, busted your ass to get to a point where you're making 250, for a 17-year-old to come in and make 500, it's like, man, that's fucking crazy, like, I feel like it feeds into a lot of egos. But once again, I'm not hating on it. Like, go maximize your fucking money. But I just wish it was more controlled. So, the kids had more focus on what the focus needs to be on, which is grinding your fucking nuts off to get better, to develop. If you need to gain weight, grinding to gain that weight. If you need to lose weight, grind to lose that weight. If you need to hone in on more football stuff, like, have that time to hone in. Because the thing that I'd appreciate from when we weren't getting paid was, man, you knew at the end of the day, like, all the times that you busted your ass, like, if you do it the right way as often as possible and as consistent as possible, there's a big fucking payday waiting at the end. And it's like, that kind of holding that over your head is like, I feel like, it brought a different type of hunger. It's like, fuck, man, I'm sitting here, I gotta call mom for $20 for a fucking pizza, like, those times suck. But it's like, every time that shit happen, it's like, man, I can't fucking wait so I don't have to call anybody, so I can get some fucking food, so I can get some fucking gas, so I can, buy something for the crib, whatever it is. Like, I don't want to have to call nobody no more. Like, I want to be able to make it to the league and get this big boy bread so I can buy what the fuck I want and not ask anybody shit. But, it's just interesting to see the dynamic on how it changes, because if you're 17 years old and you got, let's say, even 100K in the bank, how much are you really wanting to get down and go bust your ass and go get dirty in that stadium during conditioning? How much how much do you really want to get under that fucking bar in Queens at 6 o'clock in the fucking morning when you got 100 bands in your account? How bad are you really gonna fucking want it at that young of an age? So, and all the fucking kudos to the guys that are in those situations that grind like they ain't got fucking nothing. Cause that's some hard shit to do, especially at 17, 19, 21 years old. Like, so kudos to you if you got that mentality, but I can only imagine how hard it would fucking be. I couldn't imagine having 100 bands in college. I couldn't imagine having fucking 2. I couldn't imagine having 1. Like, God, I think the most money I ever had at one time, after paying rent was like $400. And at that point, you know how it is, man. You feel like you got the world in your hands, $400 at the time. It's like, man, I can go buy this. I could get some good food today, you know? Like I ain't gotta eat Subway and bullshit. I can go get some top-notch shit. I can go sit down and eat, you know? Like I can go in a restaurant. But it's like, that's just how we felt with, you know, a couple $100 in the pocket, you know? But so if I had 100K, it's like, bitch, we going to Ruth Chris tonight. Every night, you know? Like fuck it, we going to Orlando, we going to Tampa. Like we living life. So kudos to the kids that can do it. And, you know, like I said, every kid out there, the goal shouldn't be to maximize your dollars in college, but if you have an opportunity to, yeah, by all means, you know, take advantage of it. I wish they had capped it off at kids making like 40, 50 bands a year, and whatever you make on top of it, you get it when you graduate. You get it when your eligibility's up, because that's when you're gonna want it the most. Everybody wants to study in college and, you know, be that guy, but it's like, we done seen all them guys that, you know, they had it in college, they had it at a young age, and then, you know, when it's time to move on to the real world, they ain't got shit. And now, you know, everything's changed about them because they down at ground zero. So now imagine you get those kids, you know, that don't make it to the league, but they signed a $400,000 NIL deal. Now that they graduated, they got 300 coming their way. So now they got money for an apartment, a house, clothes, you know, everything they need to do to prepare themselves for whatever job they're getting into. And now they don't feel that need to, oh man, I gotta move in with mom. I gotta move in with my boy. I gotta struggle. Like, at that point you made the money. The ultimate dream didn't happen in the NFL. At least you got a great cushion to fall back on to jumpstart your life, you know? So I love the NIL. I just wish there were some minor changes.